From Lake Mississippi to Big Green and everything in between, we're talking about what's happening in your hometown. This is Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And good morning and welcome to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more. The new year means a new look for your home. Contact Randy and the team at Professional Floor Covering. Whether you're dreaming of brand new cabinets and countertops, stylish new flooring, or a luxurious shower or tub, Professional Floor Covering has everything you need to transform your space. If you're looking to upgrade that bathroom with a new tub or shower, they've got you covered. Let their team help you design a shower that lets you unwind and relax. From color and material choice, size, arrangement, there's a lot of design choices that need to be made before beginning the remodeling process in your bathroom, and Professional Floor Covering can help you all the way along. Maybe you're thinking about upgrading to a glass enclosure for your shower. It can help make the bathroom space feel a little larger. They can also help you with your tub to shower conversions as well. When it's time to upgrade your bathroom, visit the folks at Professional Floor Covering, 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam, or online at PROFLR.com. Well, a big thank you to everybody involved with the Pasta with Purpose event last night at Beaver Dam High School. Thanks to everybody who stopped out, whether you dined in at the high school or you hit the drive-through option and took it all home. We appreciate you participating, and just a huge shout-out to all the students involved in that last night to put that on. 8 different student service organizations were involved and collaborated on that project to put it together, and we so appreciate that. All the funds raised last night going to be benefiting the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. We appreciate them keeping the Radiothon in mind and making it a part of Pasta with a Purpose. So thanks to everybody who made that happen. Coming up tonight over on Daily Dodge TV, we've got some Beaver Dam boys hockey for you as they play host to Oshkosh. We'll have it for you over on Daily Dodge TV with the pregame coverage beginning at 6:45 p.m. When we come back, we're going to visit with the folks from Five Stones Dodge County, learn about some of the great work that they are doing, and then coming up later in the program, we'll visit with our friends from Pave Dodge County. That's all coming up on Hometown Today from 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It's Randy from Professional Floor Covering. You're listening to Hometown Today on the 5,000 watt flamethrower on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Back to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. And we are happy to welcome in our first guest this morning, Tracy Scheffler. Tracy is with Five Stones Dodge County. And we do just want to throw a heads up out there that some of the topics we're going to be touching on today are of a bit of a sensitive nature and can certainly be topics that are sometimes uncomfortable conversations to have, but they're also incredibly important conversations to have, and so that we make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the most vulnerable in our community. But we did just want to throw that heads up out there. And Tracy, you are with Five Stone. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. And for folks who aren't familiar, talk a little bit about Five Stones Dodge County, what it is, and what you guys do.
Sure. Five Stones Dodge County was formerly Five Stones Beaver Dam. We founded 12 years ago this March, and we've really spent the chunk of that time dealing with sex trafficking specifically. And now we're moving into it's all related, it's all in the same bubble, but we're moving into sextortion and hitting a little bit harder on social media and the safety that's needed there. But we are a nonprofit organization run by volunteers, about 8 to 10 people at any given time. And our Five Stones are awareness, prevention, education, networking, and collaboration.
Okay.
And that's what we've been doing for almost 12 years, and that's what we'll keep doing until this problem, I wish, would go away.
Yeah, one of those organizations, again, we are so glad to have around, but we would love to see no need for it. And as you mentioned, you guys have been doing a lot of educating on sex trafficking, sextortion, and I know we were talking before we went on the air that people, a lot of people have probably heard the term sextortion, but you also run into a lot of people who have no idea what that is. Talk a little bit about what it is we're talking about when we use that term.
Right. I really have heard that quite a bit lately. I don't know what it is. And so I have decided that the easiest way for people to understand it is it's the word sex plus extortion equals sextortion.
Okay.
So it's where a perpetrator and a potential offender will trick someone into sending them what is called a nude picture or something sexualized, and then use that to blackmail them. That's really the simplest way to describe it. Technically, and I am reading off of my papers because this is a newer presentation that we've created, sextortion is the threat to expose sexual images if a victim does not give an offender what they want, which 79% of the time is money.
Okay. I think sometimes it's easy, especially in communities of our size, that some of the size communities we have here in Dodge County, it's easy to brush it off, right, and say, oh, okay, well, we're not in the big cities. I don't have anything to worry about. You have been at this for 12 years. What are you seeing? Are these things that we are dealing with in our own communities?
Sex trafficking is happening in every county, and we've been hitting that gravel pretty hard for 12 years, and I think people have seen and understand that now. Sextortion is even more likely to be happening everywhere because it's happening online. You don't even need your community. You don't even need to wonder what your personality of your community is like, or how big your city is, or how small, or how rural, or how urban. If you are online, then sextortion is occurring, and your kids are potential victims of it.
Talk a little bit about some of the numbers, because I think when people maybe hear or see some of these numbers, it starts to go, oh, this is happening in my community. Talk a little bit about some of those.
Right. Thanks for bringing that up. So, again, I'm going to be in my notes just to make sure I'm getting everything right. So between 2021 and 2023, reports of online enticement through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children have more than tripled. Wow. That's very significant. More than tripled online enticement. 27%, this is from the National Human Trafficking Hotline in 2020, were recruited by intimate partners. So we're talking about ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, so people that you would think when you're sending them an explicit picture would never hurt you. We love each other. They'll never hurt me with this. I have nothing to worry about. And everybody knows if you're dating in middle or high school, more than likely you're going to break up at some point. I do have some friends who married their high school sweethearts. I always think it's such a huge celebration.
Yeah.
Because that's long term. But more than likely, there's going to be a breakup, and breakups are hard. And we're talking about age groups that are not emotionally developed until their 20s. Their brains are not fully formed. And so you can see how easily you would think it's okay to put something out there. Although I'm 55. My generation, maybe your generation, and anything in between us and today's youth, this would not have been in our world, right? We wouldn't have thought about it, but it is in their world. It's absolutely where they live. They live online, today's youth. And so they will send a picture because that's where they are exploring their youth, their bodies, their sexuality. It's happening online. Whereas for those of us who are a little older, it happened in real time, and there were less dangers with that.
And that really leads right into the next part of that conversation, which, you've touched on the fact that technology is such a big part of this. Talk a little bit about the role of technology and social media when it comes to sex trafficking and sextortion.
Well, teens who say that they're online almost constantly has roughly doubled in the last 10 years. So number one, we're online more. Our kids are online more than they ever were for obvious reasons. They have their iPads at school. They have phones now more readily available. It's just becoming more and more, and it is a part of our life. And we just have to accept and probably not be able to fight that. So what we have to figure out is what to do with that, right? Because they're socializing online. 1 in 5 teens ages 13 to 17 have shared a nude. That's what is reported. And so, like you and I were talking about prior, if any listeners think about 5 youth in their life, maybe they're in your family, maybe they're yours plus nieces and nephews, maybe it's grandkids. That means, hypothetically, 1 in 5 of them has indeed shared a nude. Are they going to tell you about that? No, it's a secretive thing. And when that comes back to, so to speak, bite them through an extortionist or a predator or perpetrator, they don't know what to do with that. And it's also leading toward, it's one of the biggest reasons that we're seeing an increase in teens taking their own lives.
Okay. We're talking with Tracy Scheffler with Five Stones, Dodge County, some of the great work that they're doing to help fight sex trafficking and sextortion here in our communities. That is happening, and there's a lot of risks out there, and we're going to talk about some of that when we come back here on Hometown Today from 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
professional floor covering, and you're listening to Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Welcome back to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more. Also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. We are joined by Tracy Scheffler with Five Stones Dodge County, talking about some of the work they do to combat sex trafficking, sex extortion, unfortunately things that are happening in our communities. And before the break, Tracy, we were talking about some of these, stereotypical situations, and we talked a little bit about, the boyfriend-girlfriend situation, and we should also talk about we talked a little bit about who's the victims. We'll talk a little bit more, but we want to talk a little bit about who are these perpetrators and predators and what other situations happen.
Yeah, it's very common that these predators are online, joining chat rooms, joining game rooms, being in the social media spaces that kids are in, and really any app is fair game. We're talking about Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, anywhere where you can meet and chat with people and learn things about them. And so perpetrators love being able to groom a potential victim online because they can be whoever they want to be. They don't have to be a 50-year-old man or a 60-year-old woman. They can be the age group that they are trying to extort. So they can present as, and honestly, AI and online resources are making it easy for them to present as a certain age group. It will write paragraphs for them. I'm not against AI. I'm just saying this is one of the ways that perpetrators use it. Write me a paragraph that sounds like I'm 15 and I'm chatting with a 15-year-old. Or what are the trending words or phrases that youth are using? And so they enter into these areas that kids are, and they're looking for the vulnerabilities, and then they will potentiate a situation where they are presenting as one type of a relationship that will eventually turn into sextortion.
If you're a parent or maybe a grandparent or a mentor or a family member to a teen, what are some of the warning signs to look out for that you should start looking into? Hey, I think they might be in a little bit of trouble, might need some help.
Yeah, if you've ever been to one of our presentations, some of the warning signs for sex trafficking do overlap, but I am going to consult my notes because this is a newer presentation for us. So high parent-child conflict, if they're coming from a family where there's not good communication or they're already struggling in relationship with a parent, communication is everything when it comes to these situations, because you want to preempt them with the knowledge. Because once a child is caught up in sextortion, they can't see a way out, and they're so ashamed they don't think they can talk to anyone about that. So we need to be preemptive. So there has to be open lines of communications with the youth that are, whether they're your children, your grandchildren, you're mentoring them, or anyone in your circle of influence, really. If they're looking for love and attention, and honestly, Cal, who isn't?
Right.
I know I do, And definitely when we think of kids in that very tender age group, loneliness, isolation, depression, the current youth generation is the most anxious and depressed generation. So I don't think a predator has to look very far to hear youth talking about that or expressing that online, especially if they think they're online with someone in their age group, a new friend or a potential girlfriend or boyfriend in their minds. Low self-esteem, delinquent behavior because risks come along with that, substance use in the family, absence of a cohesive family, lack of supervision provides kids with a lot of time to be online without anybody asking any questions. Historical trauma, because trauma leads to trauma, it leaves you vulnerable. accessibility, how many different ways to be online do our youth have, and then how often are they alone so they're more accessible. And then lastly, I would mention the LGBTQ plus community, because that just comes with a whole nother set of risk factors.
Talking with Tracy Scheffler from Five Stones, Dodge County, and we just got a minute or two left, and we're gonna be visiting with Pave in our next segment, and we'll be able to get into more conversation about some of the risk factors, some of the warning signs, what it happens to you. You get stuck in or you're sensing, oh no, I've entered this. What can somebody do if it happens to them?
So number one, they need to know that there are things that they can do. That they need to not believe the lies of the predator or perpetrator who is saying, nobody will ever love you again if these pictures come out, if I release them, if you don't pay me, if you don't send me money, and with Venmo and all of the different ways, that they can get their money, it's even easier. And so number one, you need to know that there is something that you can do. And so parents and guardians need to be there unconditionally. Behind closed doors, if you want to scream and punch your pillow and cry and be so upset, that's fine, because you are going to be, it's very upsetting. Yeah. But with your child, be present and tell them you're going to help them out of it and that you love them just the same. You want to report sextortion, you can do cybertipline.org or 1-800-THE-LOST or both. Report to local law enforcement, report to your Dodge County Sheriff's Department, report to Beaver Dam Police. Definitely mention if the victim is under age 18, because that's a felony punishable by law. And then the last thing really is very counterintuitive, and that is to save everything. The instinct is going to be delete, 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 but then you lose your case with anyone who's going to investigate it. So you need to save everything. Eventually, you can utilize resources like Take It Down to get things removed, and law enforcement will, and I believe should, encapsulate it so it's no longer out there as much. But you need to take the steps, otherwise it feels like it's just going to eat you alive. Things to look for with your kids if you're not sure what's happening. Are they withdrawing? Are they closing or hiding their phone when you walk into a room? Are they having excessive bathroom time where they have a locked door and they can be taking pictures, things like that, or in their bedroom? Are they secretive about their online or offline friends? Are they losing sleep? Do they seem stressed out? Is their personality changing? Are they suddenly using more sexualized language? Because perpetrators will try to normalize that kind of language as they're entering into this kind of courtship. They'll make it just seem more normal. This is the way, this is what everybody's doing. This is how everyone's talking. And then just what we've always learned about any type of issues, mood shifts, changes in their behavior, depression, anxiety.
Very good. Again, we're talking with Tracy Scheffler with Five Stones, Dodge County, and there's so much more to dive into, and we're certainly going to have you guys back on the program again sometime. And but there is an opportunity coming up in March that you guys are hosting. That would be a really great opportunity to dive even further into this and to learn a real life story about this.
Yeah. I hesitate to say we're excited about it, but we do think it's going to be an important event. And so I will be presenting our new presentation on sextortion and online safety, social media safety. And then afterwards, we will be hearing from a lovely man called John DeMay from Michigan. And he lost his son to sextortion. His son took his own life. He was a high school athlete, and a heartbreaking story. And so we're going to be able to hear from him. We'll also have Beaver Dam Police Chief John Kreitzinger and I believe Detective Heather Johnson, who is kind of trained and tasked with sex trafficking cases locally. And it's going to be a really important night. It's Wednesday, March 12th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Beaver Dam High School at 500 Gould Street. And then we do advise parental discretion, so we're asking for no kids under 10. And honestly, that's you really need to think about even what your 10-year-old can handle, right?
Yeah. Again, that is coming up, you said March 12th?
March 12th, Wednesday, March 12th.
At the Beaver Dam High School, a great opportunity to learn more and maybe if you don't quite understand how this happens, a really great opportunity, especially like we were talking about, to really get an understanding that it really can happen to anybody. Again, March 12th, Beaver Dam High School. And if in the meantime, if folks want to dive a little bit more into this, learn a little bit about Five Stones work, where can they find you guys?
fivestonesdodgecounty.org.
All right.
And Five Stones Dodge County on Facebook as well.
All right, very good. Tracy, thanks so much for coming in. We'll definitely have you back on the program, and thanks for all the good work that Five Stones is doing.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we're going to sit down and chat a little bit about this conversation with a couple of the folks from Pave, Dodge County. We're looking forward to that conversation coming up here on Hometown Today from 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors, and so much more. Also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam, who invites you to stop in and discover their power lift chair recliners. They have the largest selection in Dodge County, ready and available for delivery. With the touch of a button, these chairs can lift you to a standing position or recline you all the way down to a comfortable nap. You can even get lift chairs with heated massage or adjustable headrest and lumbar support, and some models even have cup holders and wireless phone chargers. And there's a variety of sizes in stock from small all the way up to the big mans, with prices starting at just $699. And the best part is you don't have to worry about the power going out because they come with a battery backup. As always, when you purchase your lift chair with McKinstry's, delivery is free. So if you need it delivered out to your home, or you got a loved one in an assisted living facility and you need it delivered there, they can do that. They are also a lift chair service center as well. McKinstry's Home Furnishings, downtown Beaver Dam. Use the entrance in the tower parking lot, which is handicap accessible. Thanks again to Tracy Scheffler with Five Stones Dodge County, who joined us in our last segment here on Hometown Today, and talking about that, having that tough conversation about sex trafficking and sextortion. And we're continuing that conversation now, and we are joined by a couple of folks from Pave, Dodge County. We have with us Alex Martinez and Sylvia Ortiz. Thanks so much for coming in this morning, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
We want to talk, we're going to kind of continue and piggyback off the conversation that we had with Tracy. And I know obviously you guys and Five Stones certainly cross over a lot, and
sure.
So looking forward to more of that conversation. But if you would just quickly share with folks what each of your roles is and what you do with Pave.
Sure, I can go first. So I'm the sexual assault survivor advocate, and both Alex and I are bilingual as well, so we're able to provide services in Spanish. Although my title is sexual assault survivor advocate, I also am cross-trained as a domestic violence advocate as well.
All right, very good. And Alex, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm also a lead advocate, but my, focus is more on youth, but
Okay.
I'm also cross-trained, so I can do sexual and domestic as well.
And I know obviously a lot of people here are familiar with Pave and the work you do. Obviously, been part of the Good Comer Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon for a number of years. But if there is people that maybe aren't familiar with Pave, can you just kind of give a brief overview of what Pave is and the work you guys do?
Absolutely. So we do provide services for both adults and children, where Alex comes into play, where if we're serving the adults who are survivors, the children are also secondary victims, or sometimes, they are the primary victim. So we do provide services for both. We do have a shelter in the case that somebody were their lives were in danger. They can definitely come and stay with, or sometimes they don't have friends that can help them for an overnight stay. We do have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week confidential crisis hotline, and we also have a texting line that we will be sharing the number throughout the show today. So emergency housing, case management, family advocacy, sexual assault victim advocacy, children and teen advocacy, bilingual support, safety planning, LGBTQ advocacy, and material assistance. So we can help clients in shelter, but we can also help community clients that, they're trying to get back on their feet. So we have a pantry that we have general items that we can share, hygiene products and stuff that are needed. And we also offer support groups. There's different types of support groups. So if you are not following us on our Facebook page, please do follow us. We provide information, and throughout this whole month, we've been sharing information regarding stalking and human trafficking as well.
All right, very good. Again, Sylvia Ortiz and Alex Martinez are with Pave Dodge County, and when we were talking with Tracy Scheffler from Five Stones, we talked a lot about sextortion and what it is, what it looks like, what some of the warning signs are. We talked a little bit about some of the high-risk groups. And one of the things we wanted to talk with you guys today about was the fact that there is some really, really useful tools and resources out there. One of them is really, really interesting. Sylvia, you had actually sent it over to me yesterday, and I got a chance to check that out quickly this morning before we went on the air. And it's a very, I haven't seen anything like this as a resource. Talk a little bit about this interactive film.
Yeah, it's an awesome tool to use for the youth. I have, as Sylvia was saying, I have groups in both Spanish and English, and I've showed it to both of them. And it's cool to see. I guess let me go back. It's a video that gives you choices. It's an interactive video, right?
Yeah.
So they can go through the eyes of this child who's experienced extortion firsthand, and it's good to see the outcomes of either option. It'll give you two options. One can be like block the person. One can be accept the person, and it'll explain why the first choice is the good one, why the second choice is the bad one, and it's super cool because it gets kids thinking like, what would I do in that situation? And it's a good conversation starter too.
Yeah, it was interesting. I kind of tried it out a little bit, and it puts you kind of into the life of this teenager.
Absolutely.
and you're kind of helping him make his choices, and the story kind of opens, and then you suddenly have this decision. Okay, do I do this or do I do this? And it was interesting too as you went along. Sometimes if you chose one choice, you go, all right, well, I know this is the right choice. It would explain to you, okay, well, you might be a 40-year-old doing this, and your brain is more developed than a 15-year-old, say.
Exactly.
And it will show, hey, like, this is how a 15-year-old might think. So this is probably the choice the 15-year-old's going to make. So let's make this, and what's going to happen when that happens.
Exactly.
And it really is. It's really interesting. Is that a resource that's available to anybody?
Absolutely, yeah. You can either look up the link. It's noescaperoom.org, or we have it on our Facebook. It's just posted there, the link too. So if you want to just go click on that, that would be the best way to find it.
And what I love about this too, especially when it comes to teenagers, is when we talk about these things, they can be uncomfortable conversations for a lot of people that we don't want to have, or maybe I don't know, I don't want to think about it because I don't think my kid's going to fall victim, or I don't know how to talk to them about it. And what I love about this one is this is such a great starting point for that. Is I'm not sure how to have the conversation with you, but let's start here so you kind of understand what the risks are. So it's a great tool. And again, noescaperoom.org, and then if folks visit the Pave Facebook page, you've got the link up there as well. So it's a really, really great tool. Another great resource, Sylvia, is the Truckers Against Trafficking app. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So Cody Green is the other sexual assault survivor advocate. He was not able to come today, but I did kind of ask him, since he helped make some changes to this app, which is really cool. So I just kind of asked him, can I take some of this information on the show? Because I feel like it's super, super helpful. It's kind of sort of like a tip line. So it's when you search it, it's TAT, or Truckers Against Trafficking. And so I asked him, can you please tell me why they created the app? And he said the Truckers Against Trafficking app was created to empower truck drivers and transportation professionals to combat human trafficking. And the app provides education, resources, and tools to identify victims due to their frequent presence on highways, truck stops, and rest areas where trafficking activities often occur. The app's goals include raising awareness, educating drivers about the reality of human trafficking and how it operates. And number 2, providing resources, offering training videos, hotline numbers, and indicators to spot trafficking. Also encouraging action, so enabling truckers to report suspicious activity directly to authorities right off of this app. I also asked him how this app helped with prevention. He says that Truckers Against Trafficking has helped with the identification and recovery of over 1,500 victims of human trafficking. And additionally, the organization's outreach and training programs have facilitated the arrest of over 750 traffickers. So the app, combined with the TAT's other resources, has transformed the trucking industry into a crucial ally in preventing and combating human trafficking. And then just quickly, increase reporting. So the app connects users directly to the National Human Trafficking Hotline, making it easier to report suspicious activity. TAT's efforts have led to thousands of calls from truckers that resulted in hundreds of cases being investigated and victims being rescued. And then victim identification. By making truckers and transportation professionals more informed, the app has directly helped identify and rescue trafficking victims. For example, in recent reports, the TAT-trained truckers have been credited with over 1,500 victim recoveries and numerous arrests on traffickers.
All right, again, that's the Truckers Against Trafficking app, and it's going to be listed as the TAT app in the app stores, I think you mentioned. So another great resource, and we've got to take a break here in just a minute, but I want to make sure you guys have time to stick around here a little after 10 o'clock and continue to talk. I know we've got a number of things we want to talk about. One thing I want to ask before we go to the break, though, is, and we talked a little about this with Tracy. I think it's so easy, especially in Dodge County and some of the communities of the sizes communities we have. It's really easy to think, it's not sex trafficking, sextortion, maybe not a real problem here, and especially when we talk about the sextortion piece of it. I think as parents, it's so easy to go, I don't think my kid's smart, or my kid doesn't come from a broken home, quote unquote, or and so I'm not worried about it. You guys work closely with these types of things. Yeah. What would you say to that conception?
I would say it's easy to think that way, but that's exactly what they want, right? It's always under wraps. No one really knows, and especially for kiddos who have never experienced this type of thing. Like as you said, once we're older, we've seen stuff, whether it's TV, learning it through school. It's easier for us to make those decisions, but kiddos definitely don't have that experience. So
yeah, exactly.
Which is why I do encourage parents to experience this interactive film, because it's happening when you're on gaming. You don't know who you're speaking to. There's the AI now, that the artificial intelligence, they can sound like a female talking to a younger male. So please do encourage the parents to experience this so that they can show their children. And if you were listening before to the Five Stones, I touched up on Officer DeMay, who lost his teen son, right, to something like this. So it can happen to anybody. It just sneaks in, and just be very aware of that.
Yeah, that is. I would encourage folks to check out the event coming up on March 12th at Beaver Dam High School, put on by Five Stones. A very impactful story of a young man who lost his life to this, and a great example of the fact that everybody is at risk for this. It can happen to anybody. You're talking about, right, a kid that probably would have been described as an all-American, and had a parent in law enforcement, right, should have the upper advantage, and it's just anybody can fall victim. Obviously, technology is a big piece of that. We're talking with Alex Martinez and Sylvia Ortiz with Pave of Dodge County. It's also National Stalking Awareness Month in January. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that and learn a little bit about what stalking is all about, because it is a very vague umbrella term. So we want to get a little bit better understanding. We'll do that when we come back on Hometown Today, presented by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors, and so much more. If it is time for an upgrade for your home, work with Randy and the team at Professional Floor Covering. They've got you covered. Anything from bathroom remodels, countertops and cabinets, and of course flooring. And with floors in the name, the flooring selection is going to be fantastic. You'll be able to choose from many different types, styles, and brands of flooring, including a great selection of carpet. Randy usually keeps over 50 rolls of carpet in stock, plus a whole bunch of other options that can be ordered in as well. well. They've also got a great selection of hardwood, laminate, and LVP. They also do tile and stone, and they can help you out with your custom area rug as well. And the team will come out, get all the measurements done in your home for free, get you a free quote, and get you on your way to your new floors looking absolutely beautiful. Professional floor covering, 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam, online at PROFLR.com. More Hometown Today after this on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Hey, it's Randy from Professional Floor Covering, bringing you Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Welcome back to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more. Whether you're looking to upgrade your flooring, get a new shower or a bathtub, or you're looking for countertops or cabinets, they have got you covered at Professional Floor Covering. If you're looking for new countertops, Professional Floor Covering is the place to go, whether it's in your kitchen or your bathroom. The material, the color, the pattern of a countertop all play a big role in how a bath or kitchen remodel is going to turn out. And at Professional Floor Covering, they offer a large selection of quartz, granite, marble, and laminate countertops, so they will find something that is just perfect for both your lifestyle and your design. Professional Floor Covering, 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam, online at proflr.com. We are visiting with Alex Martinez and Sylvia Ortiz with Pave of Dodge County. We touched a little bit on some of the work they're doing with sextortion, some of the resources and tools that are available. One of the other things we want to talk about today is the fact that in January is National Stalking Awareness Month. And when we talk about stalking, it can be it's kind of such a vague term. And I think for a lot of people, there's such a gray line of where is it stalking? Where is that line? Alex, can you talk a little bit more about stalking, kind of break it down a little bit?
For sure, yeah. And like you were saying, stalking is kind of like a weird gray line type thing. And it's either like, people I guess see it as either this guy is stalking me, but it's also kind of accepted in like relationships where like, oh, my boyfriend's just following me or my girlfriend's just following me, and they're kind of just doing this. But I thought it'd be good to break it into the different types to hopefully help people differentiate if it's one or the other. And each type, I guess, has a different name through different organizations and different sites. So I just picked these titles for them. So like a big one is intimate partner stalking, and that's just stalking from a current or former partner. And this is often driven by jealousy, control, desire for revenge, usually because of a breakup. And some common behaviors for that one would be like monitoring, threats, or harassment. That's a lot of the ones we deal with, I feel like, being a domestic violence sexual assault
majority.
center.
And I imagine that's probably for you, Alex, being kind of the youth advocate one, that you see the most amongst the youth and the teens.
For sure, yeah.
What are some of the other types of stalking that you see?
So another one is acquaintance stalking. This is when the stalker knows the victim but doesn't have a romantic relationship with them. So like neighbor, coworker, stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of the motivation for that one would be obsession, anger, or attention seeking, and some of the behaviors would be persistent communication or kind of just showing up uninvited.
Okay. All right. Well, so tell us about some of the other forms of stalking.
For sure. So the third one that I have on here is stranger stalking, and this is kind of a scary one because this is a stalker and the victim have no prior relationship, and this is where a lot of people don't really know what's going on. Motivation for this one is often obsession or being fixated on someone, usually like on a public figure. And the common behavior for this one is following people around, sending unsolicited messages, or attempting contact. And then moving on to the next one would be cyber stalking, which is a lot more prevalent now that everyone has their devices and stuff like that. And that one is when stalking occurs through online or digital platforms. The motivation for this one can be revenge, obsession, or harassment. And common behaviors are threatening messages, hacking someone, or impersonating someone, which kind of ties into sextortion.
Yeah.
There's also predatory stalking, which is stalking with the intent to harm or assault someone. The motivation is typically sexually motivated or linked to other criminal intentions. And some common behaviors are like surveilling or planning attacks, so it's hard to tell with that one. And the last one I have is revenge stalking. And revenge stalking is motivated by anger or revenge due to perceived injustices. And the motivation is usually retaliation or just wanting to intimidate someone. And common behaviors for that are also threats, harassment, and trying to instill fear in someone.
All right. Again, talking with Alex Martinez and Sylvia Ortiz with Pave. January is National Stalking Awareness Month, and so it is important to understand the different types of stalking and understand where that line is drawn. And essentially, is it fair to say if it's unwanted in any way,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
stalking? So,
For sure.
Sylvia, I know you guys obviously, in a lot of the things you do, including in this work, you guys work closely with local law enforcement. For you, the Beaver Dam Police Department, and you got a chance to talk with Detective Johnson at the Beaver Dam Police Department. I was hoping to kind of have her on, but obviously busy schedule, and so you got a chance to talk to her a little bit beforehand and ask her a couple questions about stalking. I know you want to share some of her insights.
Absolutely, and I know for time's sake, we could talk about this for forever. There's just so much information out there. Again, this is why I encourage the community who's listening to please follow us on Facebook as a prevention and awareness education agency. We want to talk about prevention. We want to help you to become alert with the information that sometimes we don't think about. So I did ask Detective Johnson from Beaver Dam Police Department a couple questions here, and I'd like to share the question and answer. How can victims collect evidence to support their case? And she answered documentation, calling the police, screenshots of messages or emails, so that you have that evidence on hand, and photographs. And question number 2, what legal protections are available for victims of stalking? Restraining orders. Again, the documentation is super important in order to have a restraining order approved, and that's something that Pave can help with. And question number 3, are there specific resources or support services available for stalking victims? And her answer is Pave. The district attorney's office has victim witness coordinators if their case were to be charged. Question number 4, what is the role of technology in stalking, and how can law enforcement help with cyber stalking? She answered that a warrant can be done to social media or email accounts in order to gain IP addresses of those believed to be stalking. And then the last question, what if a person is not sure they are being stalked? Should they still report it to police? They can always err on the side of caution and contact the police department to investigate. That's what we're here for, she says. I kind of wanted also to talk a little bit about prevention things.
Yeah.
Just for example, I'm always worried about confirming my address at the pharmacy. I don't know how close the person is standing behind me. So you
Yeah.
can always take your ID out instead of you can say this is my address. Just because if somebody's hearing that, they can write it down and start following you. AirPods. If somebody gifts you an AirPod, they could have already registered it, maybe with the intention of wanting to know where you're at. They can follow you. Also, be alert. Watch your rear view mirrors when you're driving. Make sure that there's nobody following you. When you leave your house, make sure that you're looking out the window. Maybe there's a car parked there that you all of a sudden start seeing. So we encourage you to just kind of be more alert when it comes to stalking.
Yeah, it makes that's such a good point. The pharmacy's one, and there's some other places where you might have to give your address or date of birth, and it's just important to be conscious of what you're giving out and who's surrounding you. It's something to think about. Talking with Alex Martinez and Sylvia Ortiz with Pave of Dodge County, and of course, there's a lots more to learn about stalking, and I would highly encourage, if you want to learn a little bit more and understand it a little bit better, make sure to follow Pave on Facebook. You guys have been doing a great job all month long of posting different statistics and resources and things like that when it comes to stalking. And if you're watching on the Daily Dodge TV stream, we've also been throwing some graphics up there with some of the numbers on stalking, and it really it happens to a lot of people, so it's something to be aware of. Again, make sure you follow Pave on Facebook. You can learn a lot more about stalking during National Stalking Awareness Month. Got just a few minutes left to a few things we want to throw out. I know, Sylvia, obviously you guys do a lot of work with our Latin communities here in the area, and I know you wanted to speak a little bit to our fans in that community too today.
Sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I know there's lots of news out there, and our Hispanic population, we serve lots of Hispanics in our community, and anyone in general who may be afraid of reporting something. They might be afraid of their reporting it because of their legal status. So I just wanted to say something in Spanish to those who are listening. And so lo que queríamos decir, los defensores de Pave quieren que sepan que con nosotros su información queda segura y que no importa su estatus legal. Cuando usted es víctima de un crimen, usted tiene leyes que lo protegen. No importa que no sea legal, ya que su estatus no tiene nada que ver con la situación. Para más información, por favor, contáctenos al 920-887-3810 y oprima 1 para español. Puede también pedir hablar con Alex o con Silvia, que los dos somos bilingües. I'd like to share again our 24-hour hotline, 920-887-3810, and our texting line. So sometimes people can't talk over the phone for safety reasons. They can text us at 920-344-0123.
All right, very good. That is Sylvia Ortiz. We also have Alex Martinez, both with Pave of Dodge County. Before you get out of here today, I know there's also a fundraiser coming up that we wanted to talk about that involves one of my favorite beverages, coffee.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we do highly rely on our community to help with financials to continue offering services, and we are fortunate to have Nunatak help us out with this fundraiser. So for the month of February, Nunatak Coffee will be running a fundraiser for Pave, and they are calling it Coffee for a Cause. So please visit them next month. For each bag that is purchased, Pave will get the profits, and the selling price to the customer is $18 a pound or per bag. And again, those profits will be going to Pave, and Nunatak Coffee Roasters is located at 315 South Spring Street here in Beaver Dam. We just want to thank you for your support in advance.
Yeah, appreciate Nunatak stepping up and doing that for a great cause. I know they've been involved in the community in a lot of ways, so always great to see that. One more time for folks, if they want to learn more about Pave, they need some resources, they're looking to get in touch with you, what are the different ways that they can do that?
So they could call our 24-hour hotline and also our text message line, which we just shared. pavedc.org also is a place that they can go in, and it is created with like a quick exit just in case. Again, if somebody walks behind you and you didn't want them to know that they were looking at something, you can do a quick exit, and you can send emails actually through that website as well if you're in danger, and also our Facebook.
Yeah, it's set up really neat. If somebody's in a tough situation and they're trying to find you and some of the resources, and they're a little worried, there's a big button that makes it really easy to close out really quickly if you're worried about somebody in your situation and making it worse. So again, Alex Martinez and Sylvia Ortiz with Pave Dodge County, thanks so much for coming in, and we certainly look forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, and Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more, also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. We'll be back with more Hometown Today after this on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.